just a quick video that's going to show some do's and some don'ts with clay, and this can be used for all of your projects. The first thing we're talking about is attaching two pieces together. Don't try to just squish two pieces together and hope that they will stick. This is not going to work. The clay will start to dry and the pieces will fall apart. So you want to make sure when you do go to attach two pieces together, you remember to slip and score. And we say scratch, scratch, water attached. That means I'm going to scratch the surface of the one sphere that I'm using here to attach to the other. I'm going to do the same thing on the other surface that I'm planning to attach using my cross hatching method. And then I'm going to get a little bit of my slip, which we're just going to use a little bit of water on each piece. And then I can attach. And I like to use a little bit of a twisting motion that kind of helps to really secure those two pieces together. If you forget to do this, there is a good chance that your pieces will fall apart. Now, small pieces you can get away with. Bigger pieces like these, we want to remember to scratch and attach. For the scratching and attaching, again on the don't side, is I see some people will use these really light lines to do their scratching, and that's just simply not deep enough. The other thing that people will do is they will scratch really, really deep into the clay, too far. So you want to remember when you're scratching and attaching, you don't scratch too far into the clay or too lightly. Another thing is instead of adding a little bit of water, I see people who have tried to pour water on. Don't do that. You're going to soak your clay and it's going to become like a muddy mess when you're trying to attach your pieces together. The next thing is when you make a mistake and you need to squish your pieces back together. I see where people will just start squishing it back and forth in their hands. They'll start taking the clay and ripping it apart and just layering it one thing on top of another. And that's a don't, because you can cause air bubbles, which will blow up in the kiln. If you make a mistake with your clay, roll it back into a ball, tap it on the table a few times just to kind of start getting some of those air bubbles out of it. And then you want to do a kneading method with your clay where you're just using your palm of your hand to kind of push it flat and you're rolling it back into each other. And then once you've done that a couple of times, you can go back to putting it back in a ball and tapping it on the table. That's just going to help make sure that there's no air bubbles and you don't end up making a mistake when you go to create a piece and an air bubble sneaks in and then it blows up in the kiln. So if you need to start over, don't forget to properly tap it on the table so it's a fresh piece to use. And the last thing that we want to talk about is don't leave your piece unnamed. No name, no fame. If you do not have any part of your piece that has your name or your class code on it, I'm not going to know who it belongs to. So do take the time to use your toothpick, your dowel, needle tool to scratch in your name on your piece so it's easy to read, and then also your class code.